What's up everybody? Welcome back or to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a review on a set of loading ramps for my truck. Now I've been doing a little bit of research trying to find a good ATV slash motorcycle loading ramp for my trucks, but it seems like a lot of the ones that are out there are either single pieces, which I was primarily looking for a trifold, something that could fold out a little wider, but I couldn't find any that were long enough to give me the angle that I needed so that it wasn't so much of a steep angle because I have lifted trucks. So doing a little research, I did find a set of the trifold loading ramps that hold up to 1,750 pounds, and they did seem to get a lot of really good reviews. And these are an extended version, so they're a little longer than the typical ones you would see at your general store. Now I did get these from Cabela's. I ordered them online. I will put a link in the description of these ramps if you wanted to check out a set for yourself. But without further ado, let's jump in and check these out. We're going to unbox them and then we're going to show you how to mount them to your tailgate. So let's jump in. Okay, so as you can see over here, I just have them leaning up against the wall. These are the YUTRAX here. These are the newer version, which I guess is the TX204. They're extra long, and these are a heavy duty set that hold up to 1,750 pounds. So again, I wanted a set like this that was all welded, because a lot of the cheaper ones you get at, say, Harbor Freight, everything's just kind of riveted. And I've actually seen some of the cheaper ones break before. Case in point, when I picked up my brute force at the dealership, they actually had an old set of cheap riveted ramps, and when they were driving this into my truck, actually some of the legs broke off of their ramp. So that just pretty much told me I really don't want to get involved with the riveted style. So I wanted to go with a little bit more of a heavy duty set. Now what's also cool about these is there's actually channels in here, okay, that you can actually put some plywood or some OSB, whatever you want to use. So if you want to use it as the open ladder ramp, or you can actually add some wood into those channels and create more of a flat flush ramp, maybe if you're riding a motorcycle up it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's go ahead, take this out. We're going to unbox it. I have both my trucks sitting over here in the field. I have the red one, which is just the Ram 2500 with the leveling kit. And then I have my truck next to it, which has a much bigger lift. So if you happen to be somewhere at the stock level or up to the high level or anywhere in the middle, I'm going to show you if these ramps work. So let's jump in. Okay, so we're coming over here. Again, that's my wife's truck, the red one. That's my big lifted truck over here. Now again, before we get any further, today is July 4th, 2022, and I just wanted to wish you all a happy 4th of July. God bless America, and God bless this great country, and God bless all of you. So let's jump in. So let me just go ahead and cut off these straps, take the cardboard, take the plastic off, and we're gonna take a closer look at these ramps. Okay, so we just got it unwrapped. So after you get the box tops off and the plastic, you're gonna have a set of these basic straps inside. Now these are what you're gonna strap to underneath your tailgate over here to hold this ramp in place. But I would always recommend using a different set of straps because a lot of times these straps that come in these kits are just not strong enough. I'd say if you happen to have an extra set of heavy duty straps laying around, I would use those instead because they actually lock in better. Or just go buy a cheap set. They're not that expensive, maybe 10, 15 bucks at Walmart. But usually these ones here are kind of cheap, but we're gonna try to use them today and see how they do. Now, as far as the ramp goes here, again, everything is nicely welded. So as you can see here, it's all welded everywhere. So you don't have to deal with cheap rivets. It's nice heavy gauge aluminum. So this is very heavy duty and very sturdy. It is a trifold design, so it's going to give you a nice wide platform. So driving your ATV, your riding mowers, or whatever the case may be, this is going to have a nice wide platform. It's also got these nice big heavy duty rungs at the top that are going to go right over top of your tailgate to hold this in place. And as you can see here, those are really thick and heavy duty, and they have these nice rubber tips on the top. So again, I've seen some cheaper ramps before that these rungs are really thin. These are really heavy duty right here, and I feel pretty safe putting those on the truck. So let's go over here, and I'm gonna set this up on the red truck first, and then we'll strap it down, and then we'll bring the ATV around, and we'll see how it works on a shorter truck. Now, if I come from the back here to show you, just to give you a better idea, you can see there's a big difference between the height of that tailgate and the height of that tailgate. Again, I usually don't use my truck when I'm hauling my ATV places. I usually just throw it in my wife's truck. And I used to always just back up to the hillside and use some 2x10s and drive it in. But I wanted to get a set of ramps that I can take with me. But the purpose of this video, which I haven't seen anybody else really do out there, I want to show you on a full-size truck with this height of the tailgate, and I want to compare it to this height of a heavy-duty lifted truck. And we will get out the measuring tape to measure from the ground to the tailgate top, just so you guys can see those measurements. So I want to show you the difference between this truck and that truck. That way, if your truck happens to fall somewhere at the shorter side or at the taller side or somewhere in the middle, the goal is to show you if these ramps are going to work for you. So let's start getting it set up over here, and we'll be right back. Okay, so let's start off. I got my measuring tape out. Let's start off on this truck here. Now, as you can see, to the ground, we're going to go to the top of the tailgate. We're roughly about 38 inches. So just remember, from the ground to the top of the tailgate on a 2018 Ram 2500 with just a leveling kit, we're about 38 inches off the ground. Now let's take a look at my truck over here. So let's go ahead and put this to the ground. We're looking right close to about 49 inches off the ground. So again, this is a 2016 Ram 2500 with 11-inch lift and 40-inch tires. So we're about 49 inches off the ground there. So pretty close to about a foot difference between here and there. So let's go ahead and let's get our ramp hooked up. Now again, these are pretty simple to hook up. They're pretty lightweight. I mean, you can typically carry them with one arm if you're a stronger person, but if not, you might need both arms. And you're just going to pretty much fold it out like this. Okay. I'm going to set it up, drag it over here a little bit. Okay, so that's basically what it's going to look like. Now again, for this height of a truck with a tailgate top at about 38 inches off the ground, this angle is really not that bad with these extra extended ramps. Now keep in mind, loading ATVs or driving lawnmowers up into the bed of a truck is usually uncomfortable because when you're driving up, you are on such an angle. But as long as you're leaning forward, you'll probably be just fine. But I do recommend, if you have the ability to do so, back your truck up into somewhat of a hillside or somewhere where this angle is not so much. So imagine if I back this truck up to a hill that was maybe a foot or two higher. But again, this is what I'm saying. If you're able to still back your vehicle up to some type of a hill that might be about a foot higher, now that ramp angle is very, very small and very safe and easy to drive up. But again, driving it up from the ground to here, it is going to be a little steeper, but we're going to try it out anyways. So the next thing you want to do is grab your straps, and then you're going to take your straps and strap them about midway, somewhere around the middle point of the ramp. Doesn't matter. I'd say somewhere around the middle or 3/4 of the way up. But you want to strap that strap to here and then strap it to like your tow hook or underneath your bumper or to the frame, wherever you can, and get it nice and tight. Because what happens is using a strap on both sides holds that ramp in place. So when you are driving a quad up here or whatever the case may be, you don't have to worry about those tires kicking the ramp out the back and in the front dropping off the tailgate. So I'm going to go ahead and get these straps hooked up and we'll be right back. Okay, so we got our straps hooked up. Again, I have them roughly about halfway, maybe one rung up from halfway. And I have them just strapped underneath to the trailer hitch area. So now we're good to go on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my helmet on and we're going to set the camera up. And I'm going to show you what it's like to load an ATV on a Trifold extended ramp like this. So let me set this up and we'll be right back. Okay, so one of the first things you want to do is line up your ATV. Make sure you are completely lined up. Okay. Make sure our tires are good. Okay, so we're pretty much good right here. So then what I would make sure you do is make sure you're in low gear and in four-wheel drive, okay? And then what you're going to do is just slowly go up the ramp and lean forward so that you try to put as much weight forward, because if you lean back, it's going to feel like you're going to flip back. Even though you're probably not going to flip backwards, it's going to feel that way. So just lean forward. Some people sit down and lean forward. Some people stand up. Some people stand up so that they can lean a little bit more forward over the handlebars. Either way is fine. It's probably best to stay put sitting down and lean forward, just in case you don't make a mistake. But you want to just ease up the ramp to get up over the edge, and then you'll be good to go. So we got the quad, so we got our ATV in low gear, we have it in four-wheel drive, we lined up our tires down here on both sides of the ramp, so we're good to go there. So let's just try to go up and see how it does. Okay, so on my first attempt, I just wanted to get the ATV up on the angle to get a feel for what that angle feels like, because once you understand and know how the angle feels, then you could go a little faster up the ramp. Don't floor it, don't go full speed, but you have to go a little faster, okay? But get a feel for the ramp, and once you get up the ramp, you're good. So let's try it again. Okay, put it in, turn it off, set your emergency brake, and we are in. Now, I didn't pull all the way forward just yet, but if you're a good rider and you really know how to feel the gears and feel the momentum of the ATV, then go ahead and pull it all the way up and stop where you're comfortable. Me, I tend to stop a few inches shy of the front like this, and take the parking brake off, put it in neutral, push it the rest of the way nice and slow. That way, I just want to bump the fender just gently up against the front. Then I'll put it back in the gear, lock in the emergency brake, and strap it down. I don't always like to just fly up, because if you misjudge or your brakes don't grip fast enough, you could slam the front of this quad into the bed rail here at the top, and then that's no good either. So we got the ATV on, we're good to go. So now the next part of the ATV, which is usually the scary part also, is coming back down. Now, if I would have had more space behind me here, what a lot of people do is they line their ATV up. Then what they're going to do is put the ATV in neutral, drift it back, don't start it, but just drift it back and let it drift down, and just let it go on its own. And then whenever it stops, go get it. Or you could stand on the ATV and put it in neutral and ride it down. I don't necessarily recommend starting it, putting it in reverse, and driving it down backwards, because accidents can happen that way. So just go ahead and put it in neutral, drift it back, and then you'll be good. So let's go ahead and try that. Okay, so if you want to stand in the front and hold your brake, that's fine too. Whatever you want to do is good for you. We'll try from the front, but just use your hand, give it a little pull, and we're just using the brake to guide it down, like so. Okay, I'm feeling. Okay, and we're off. Now we're off. Now again, there's multiple ways to get your ATV off. That's typically the way I like to do it, which is not being on the ATV, because if you misguide the ramp and the ATV is going to fall, whatever the case may be, I personally would rather not be on the ATV in that situation. So when it comes to removing your ATV from the back, then I would also recommend trying from the front like I just did, guiding your brake down with your handbrake, guiding it down, and then walking down the ramp. Just be careful. Now at the very end here, at the very bottom, I just went ahead and let it drift, because I knew it wasn't going to drift very far and I was going to be able to grab it. But you could also just drive it down backwards if you want, but I would say that's probably the more risky way of getting your ATV off the truck. But hey, I'm not here to judge. You do whatever makes you comfortable and whatever works for you. But I like to pretty much drift the ATV down backwards in neutral while I stand in front of the ATV and walk it down using the handbrake to get it down slowly. So now that we got the ATV on this truck and off the truck, now I'm going to go ahead, remove this ramp, hook it up to this truck, and I just want to see, I'm not even going to say today I'm going to try attempting driving it up. I want to see the amount of steepness it has. Maybe we'll try it, maybe we won't, but let me go ahead and do that and we'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and I hooked up this ramp to my lifted truck. I don't think I'm going to attempt trying to drive a ATV up that steep of a ramp. It's just too steep of a hill, and I feel like if I go up, I'm going to tip over backwards. Now, you could always use this ramp if you happen to have like a winch and you hook something up here into the bed and winch your vehicle up. You could use that for that. Or you back up to a hillside to where this ramp bottom is like up a little higher and you don't have as much of a steep angle. But I would say for a lifted truck like mine, that is definitely 100% not going to work as far as driving the ATV up. But as far as fitting here on a vehicle like this, it's about 38 inches off the ground from ground to the top of the tailgate. That worked perfectly fine as I just showed you, but I would not attempt this type of an angle. It's just too unsafe unless you are winching it up or you back up to a hillside to where the bottom is up a little higher and the angle is not so steep. But I am not going to attempt this today. It's too unsafe. But I just wanted to show you what this ramp looks like on a lifted truck. When your tailgate top is about 49 inches off the ground, that won't work. Okay, everybody, so that is it. So the purpose of today's video was really just to unbox these ramps, show you the quality of them, which the quality of these ramps are really good. I definitely give them a thumbs up. I give them a go for that. Now, as far as using these extended ramps on your truck, on a normal size truck, I'd say definitely do it because it works perfectly fine. But trying to hook these ramps up to a lifted truck is still probably not safe, and I wouldn't recommend doing it. But as far as a normal size truck, whether it's a mid-size truck, a full-size truck, or a full-size truck like my red one over here that has a leveling kit where your tailgate is about 38 to 39 inches off the ground, as you can see, it worked perfectly fine. Any higher than about 39 to 40 inches off the ground to your top of your tailgate, I wouldn't recommend using this ramp at that point. You would have to back up to a hillside or use a longer ramp, which they don't typically make in a Trifold design. You'd have to probably make your own with some 2x10s or 2x12s and make them 10 or 12 feet long. But as far as your average truck, these ramps work out great and I give them a go. So that's it for today's video. I hope this video helps some of you out. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. If you have any questions, put them in the comments section and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And also do me a favor, subscribe to the channel because it definitely helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. So that's it for today's video. I just wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you. I truly appreciate you all. And as always, see you in the next video.